that bat moving.
One away. Dreesen, the runner at third. Aboard on a single, went to third on a throwing error at first on an attempted pickoff.
He's got it. It's in there.
It's there! All right! Number 35 and an RBI. And that means on Sports World tomorrow afternoon, you'll see Pete Rose in his continuing quest.
I don't know how many people we have here, but they're standing.
Standing ovation. Let's go back now to Joe and Tony. We've had a great afternoon on NBC Sports World, and it's been a great afternoon for Pete Rose. As seen earlier on Sports World, 6th inning, Olympic Stadium, Montreal, Pete Rose's third at-bat. Previously, Rose had lined out to second. He had hit into a double play. Remember, the National League record is 37 straight games. The count is 1-1. And Rose singles up the middle. This is the 36th straight game in which Pete Rose has had a hit. He's only one game away from tying the record. By the way, that game is now in the bottom of the 10th and is tied 4-4. Next week on NBC Sports, Major League Baseball, we'll continue our coverage of Pete Rose. Philadelphia at Cincinnati.
As he comes to bat for the 4th time here in the top of the 7th inning, the game tied at 2 apiece. Dave Concepcion drove in Joe Morgan, top of the 6th to tie it up. The Mets with Pat Zachary pitching had 2 home runs. Rose goes for the drag bunt. He doesn't get it. And Pete Rose has stood up to this pressure that began way back in June, his 36-game consecutive hitting streak. The man who is trying to tie tonight the National League record holder for consecutive hitting is Tommy Holmes. There he is with his family, his wife, his son, granddaughter, looking on. He, of course, working with the Mets, community affairs. There he is, Tommy Holmes on the left. Set the mark at 37 in the National League back in 1945 with the Boston Braves. Pete Rose has 36. He's trying to tie it up. There it is. Pete Rose with his 37th game, and he's hit safely. Oh, and is he delighted. Pete Rose has tied Tommy Holmes as the all-time National League consecutive game hitter. There it is at 37. And he gets a standing ovation from a crowd that has swelled because of him. A remarkably gifted athlete. Held a single into left field. And he has tied Tommy Holmes' record. Now for the National League hitting record, consecutive game hitting record. That, you've got your group here. You've got your family.
I hope I show as much class when somebody gets ready to tie my records. He did tonight rooting for me, because I really appreciate it, Tommy.
Well, thank you, Peter. I was up there listening and watching every pitch. I said, Pete, don't pull him. If the ball's sinking, go with him. And just before I hit it, I said, Pete, go to, and he hit the shot to left. I was with you, Pete. I'm reliving 33 years ago, Frank, and it's beautiful.
You'll be here tomorrow night.
I will be here, boy, and I'll be the first one down. If he pops it, you said it.
If I get a base hit, I'm going to hand him the ball. I think he's going to come out to first base and get the ball.
That's an honor.
Okay, we know Pete's going to be here. Pete Rose tying Tommy Holmes for the consecutive game hitting record of the National League. Congratulations to both of you.
Everything could have begun anew. Meanwhile, there's a hitting streak, a line of games that stretches across more than newspaper headlines and entries in the statistical record books.
A lot of ball players I know.
But Pete Rose has always loved home runs. Singles hitters drive Fords, he once said. Home run hitters drive Cadillacs. Well, Pete Rose today...
The first time up in the first inning, he flied to Steve Henderson in left field. He is looking to Grammas for the sign. There's his average against the Mets this season. And he looks at the ball inside and low, and he asks Joe West to look over the baseball, and they'll throw a new one in. 1 ball, no strikes. Tommy Hume minus a jacket on at first base. Nobody out in the 3rd inning, and Pete Rose against Craig Swan. And listen to this crowd. the count goes to 1-1.
Lenny Randle is in very tight at third base. It would be next to impossible to drop a bunt in front of him and get on.
He played him that way last night most of the time, and of course Zachary threw him a lot of changes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Line drive, base hit, left field, and Pete Rose has broken the record of Tommy Holmes. Number 38, and they're going wild at Shea. Rose does it. Pete Rose is going to get the baseball. They will turn it over to Ron Plaza.
And there goes Tommy Holmes down to first base.
There is Tommy Holmes over to first base to shake his hands. They have stopped the game, and 61-year-old Tommy Holmes, who works for the New York Mets organization now in community relations, stands there, and he and Pete Rose are having their pictures taken. The crowd on their feet at Shea Stadium, and what a thrilling moment this is. Tommy Holmes said to Pete last night, "Thanks for bringing me back to the major leagues." And there is Tommy out there with Pete Rose as they shake hands. Quite a gesture. Holmes now getting the applause, and Pete holding up the ball at first base. And the photographer's just going away at it, and Pete now saying, "Hey, let's get on with this thing." He flips the ball. Get on with this thing. He flips the ball over to Ron Plaza, the coach, making sure that nobody lets it get away. Here it is again.
It came on a 1-1 pitch. Pete going to left field, a solid single, just like the one he hit last night. And more important than anything to Pete, you know, is the fact that he keeps the rally going for the Reds.
Rose said that he had to choke up the bat a bit against Craig Swan because of his velocity last night. And it's a base hit out to right center field. Rose with another one. And Pete Rose moving his own record to 39 consecutive ball games. Joe DiMaggio with the all-time mark of 56.
If I get up in the late 40s, then I really start thinking about it probably. And it probably hurt me when I start thinking about it.
Some pretty is on the march. 6th inning, 2nd game. Looked like the last time at bat, base hit. So his streak is alive. History is being written. And we asked his biggest fan about all the excitement.
My name's Pete Rose Jr., and I hope my dad beats Joe DiMaggio's record.
You come, Joe DiMaggio, a nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Ooh, what's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Jordan Joe has left and gone away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Funny, but he took batting practice. Ball 3.
Cubs in the
The Ohio, bottom of the first inning. Pete Rose's first at bat against Larry Christensen of the Phillies. And it's a comebacker to the pitcher, and he throws him out. Rose is 0 for 1. Bottom of the third. Rose's second at bat. There it goes, deep right center field. Jerry Martin chases it down. In NBC Sports World magnified view of the catch, Jerry Martin barely has the ball at the heel of his glove. Rose is 0 for 2. Bottom of the fifth inning, Pete Rose's third at bat. He's 0 for 2. He bunts. It's foul. Third baseman Mike Schmidt is pulled in for the bunt. Rose has bunted twice successfully during the streak against Mike Schmidt. And there it is. A shot through Mike Schmidt at third. Pete Rose has now hit successfully in 43 straight games. And a salute across the diamond to third baseman Mike Schmidt. So Pete Rose is now just 1 game behind Wee Willie Keeler and 13 back of Joe DiMaggio's record of 56. Here's another look. His switch hitter Pete Rose now has 44 hits batting left, 24 from the right side during the streak. It started on June the 14th.
Rose story. Hello, everybody. This is Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, where one of the biggest Atlanta Braves crowds of the entire year has turned out to follow one of the biggest sports stories of recent years. And that story, of course, is the story of Pete Rose. There's a good look at Pete Rose as he steps in, and the graphic tells the whole story, attempting to tie the 44-game hitting streak, which was completed in 1897 by Wee Willie Keeler, playing for the Baltimore Orioles, who were at that time in the National League. And there is the hand from the Atlanta crowd as Rose steps in against Phil Niekro. I'm Jim Lampley reporting to you, and I will be here all night to keep you abreast of developments in the Pete Rose story, which has become, as I said before, one of the biggest sports stories of recent years. 43-game hitting streak on the line as Rose steps in against Phil Niekro. He's faced Niekro only once this year on May 30th here at Atlanta. Rose led off the game with a single against Niekro and went on to go 1 for 3 in the ball game. The first pitch is called strike one by home plate umpire Andy Olson. Looked like a knuckleball, and Rose expects to get a steady diet of knuckleballs from Niekro. 13 times in the streak, Rose has had hits in his first time at bat. Inside, the count is now 1-1. I said 13, I should say 14 times in the streak. Rose has had hits in his first time at bat. Pitch is low, and now the count is 2-1. Rose generally very tough on Braves pitching, but Niekro is the Braves pitcher he least likes to face. 3-1, now the count to Pete Rose. So Pete Rose gets a base on balls in his very first appearance at the plate tonight. And you can hear the reaction from the Atlanta crowd, not happy about seeing the ball up out of the strike zone against Pete Rose. There will be more chances, but the first chance is gone. So we'll be back when Pete Rose hits again. Now we return you to your ball game. Pete Rose steps into the box here in Atlanta for his second appearance of the evening against Phil Niekro. A walk in the first inning. There's the attempted bunt, or fake bunt, whichever way you interpret it. And now that brings rookie third baseman Bob Horner of the Braves in on the grass. Line drive right at Jerry Royster, the shortstop. So, on his first swing of the bat tonight, Pete Rose makes contact and hits the ball hard, but right at Jerry Royster, the Atlanta shortstop. And 2 chances have gone for Pete Rose to match the 44-game hitting streak of Willie Keeler. We take you back to your normal ball game.
Pete Rose is coming to the plate. Let's document the story now with Jim Lampley reporting live from Atlanta.
Getting ready to go to the top half of the 6th inning here in Atlanta, where Pete Rose will be leading off. for the Cincinnati Reds. It will be his third appearance of the evening against Phil Niekro. There you see the story so far in the ball game. In the first inning he walked, in the third inning he lined out. This is a 1-1 ball game between Cincinnati and Atlanta. The Reds got their run on a home run by Johnny Bench in the second inning. The Braves came back to tie it in the bottom of the fourth on a sacrifice fly by Biff Pocoroba. Rose has had hits in 43 consecutive games. If he can get a hit tonight, he will tie the all-time National League record of 44, which was compiled in 1897 by Wee Willie Keeler of the Baltimore Orioles, who were then playing in the National League. Keeler played at a time when a foul ball was not charged against the hitter as a strike, so the rules were somewhat different for Keeler. If Keeler were alive today, he would be 106 years old. He was 25 when he compiled that 44-game hitting streak. There's a look at the man who in that year, 1897, went on to bat .432 to lead the National League in hitting. Pete Rose, as I mentioned, has had hits in 43 consecutive games. Wee Willie Keeler at 44 is the next goal for Rose. And beyond that, there is only one number, one name, 56, Joe DiMaggio. Pressure has been building on Rose for the last 2 weeks, and he has been under intense scrutiny from fans and media ever since passing Tommy Holmes for the modern National League record a week ago in New York. 2 times to the plate tonight. In the first inning, he walked on a 3-1 pitch, a knuckleball high from Niekro. This time he takes ball 1. In the third inning, he bunted at the first pitch, it was a strike, and then hit the 0-1 pitch on a line to Jerry Royster at shortstop. Pitch is low and the count is now 2-0. Crowd of over 40,000 here in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. They began arriving here at the ballpark at 5 o'clock this afternoon. They were here en masse to watch Pete Rose take batting practice. Hard hit ball. Past the second baseman, Gilbreth, and Pete Rose has done it. A base hit in the 44th consecutive game, and Pete Rose moves abreast of Wee Willie Keeler on the all-time list. And everyone in Atlanta Stadium is on their feet. A momentary pause in the game as Jerry Royster, the Atlanta shortstop, gives the ball to Pete Rose. The base hit, which ties Rose at 44 with Wee Willie Keeler. And now, as I mentioned before, there is only one number, one name left as a goal for Pete Rose. 56 games. Joe DiMaggio, 1941. Here's another look at the 2-0 pitch from Phil Niekro. A knuckleball up past second baseman Rod Gilbreth. A clean single into right field. No trouble for the official scorer on that one. And Pete Rose has kept it alive. He's been hitting over 400 from the left side of the plate during the streak. With the walk and the line out to Royster, he is now 1 for 2 on the evening. So that's the story from Atlanta. Pete Rose facing a tough pitcher. Phil Niekro has done his job. He has the base hit, and now we return you to the ball game in your area. This is Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, where just about 15 minutes ago baseball history was made. Pete Rose going for a hit in his 44th consecutive game, the one that would tie him on the all-time consecutive game hitting streak list with Wee Willie Keeler in 1897. And there it was, leading off the 6th inning. Rose hit the 2-0 pitch from Phil Niekro, past second baseman Rod Gilbreth of the Braves, into right field for the single that brought him abreast of Willie Keeler in baseball history. Keeler, who compiled his 44-game hitting streak in the first 44 games, the 1897 season, has been matched by Rose, and now Rose has only Joe DiMaggio to try to catch. Now we take you back to the ball game in your area.
Rubs up the baseball. He and Rose are battling on a full count. Here's the 3-2. Ball 4. Rose has walked for the 13th time, and the fans here do not like it. Larry McWilliams is still on the mound for the Braves. There's a ball hit right back to McWilliams, and he stabs at it and gets it. A standing ovation. Nothing but quick reactions by the lanky left-hander, and he stops Pete Rose there. Here's the 2-0 pitch from McWilliams. Ground ball. Royster, the shortstop, plays it easily and throws on to Murphy at first. Now Bob Horner moves back at third with a count 2-2. Rose trying to extend his streak to an all-time National League record of 45. He lines it right at Horner. And Horner will get the double play because Dave Collins was running at first base. Twice. And
it's going to come down to one final swing for Pete Rose. You know what's happening. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. The hitting streak is over, and the Braves have pummeled the Cincinnati Reds 16-4.
After the game, Rose seemed irritated that Garver had tried too hard to stop his streak.
I was a little surprised to score 16-4. I guess Garver's got a job to do, but he pitched me like it was the 7th game of the World Series. I hope I get a shot at him tomorrow with a 1-run lead or a tie ball game.
You feel relieved?
No, I feel pissed off. That's how I feel. I just went 0 for 4 and we got beat 16-4. I don't feel relieved about anything.
Are you anxious to start another streak?
Yeah, I sure am.
Al Dale.
I don't know if I got enough years to have to put another 44-game streak, but, you know. What we got left now? 56 games. That's what we got left in the season now. I wouldn't want to do that. I would go crazy all winter.